Watch for this knife review is the Wenger C-Force. Lime green, gray, silicone strap with contrasted stitching, logo clasp. I paid like $70 for this thing in Amazon.
It's a deal.
That's a deal. About 45 millimeters across, sapphire coated crystal, ETA quartz movement. I get about 2 years out of the battery before I have to replace it. Really nice 120 click bezel. It's a great watch. Protected crown. $70. That's amazing. They have replaced it with a newer version. We'll have a link below. I don't like it as much as this one. You might. Sterling makes a dive watch that I reviewed that looks very similar to this Wenger, and you might check that out. What do you got, TD?
Got one of the Timex Expeditions. This is that little field one.
Oh, yeah.
I forget. I think it's just like the chronograph or something. You see it a lot. It's pretty popular as far as most of their lower end high utility watches go.
TD can't see the viewfinder, so I got to kind of help him display the watch. Look at the strap it comes with, too. I would say medium quality. I wouldn't say it's like ultra high Italian quality, but it's good enough.
Pretty good for the price, though. It's about $49.
Yep, and this thing is waterproof to 1,000 meters. Can you believe that?
You can strap it to a submarine.
Kidding, not. Yeah, totally worth it. I'll review that separately. But we were just talking off camera. Watches and knives are very similar. Great EDC gear. Fun to swap them out all the time. And you getting ready to show a blade there?
No, I was just going to show my EDC favorite blade.
That's what you're EDCing today?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I've got a sawed-off Tanker Grand that I have in a single-point sling that I throw under my trench coat like Kyle Reese. It's a pretty sweet.
That is excellent. No, we're actually going to review this knife, a Buck Auto. It's the 110 Auto. It's model number 12212. It's in green canvas micarta. I'm going to start it off with a story of not the 110, but a clone that I had growing up. And I don't think I've ever told you this story.
Never heard it.
So we were bear hunting in Virginia. That's right, bear hunting in the Shenandoah Mountains. We were at camp, and it was early in the morning. My dad always got up and went his way, and he'd follow the dogs. They used to run dogs on the bear. And then a family friend, I forget his name, but he and I were still in camp. We were lazy about getting out on our stands, you know. And we have a box of Cheerios, and I had the Explorer version of this knife, and that's what Dad had given me. So it was the inexpensive, I think it was an Explorer brand. It had like 448 steel. And I was cutting out the box, and he had it on his leg, and I stabbed right into his leg as I cut through the cereal box, and it was like a pretty good cut.
Did he respect you like a lot after that?
Not really, but he did take it rather well. I thought he was like older than me. He was like 4 years older than me, and he was such a really mellow dude. I was like, I'm so sorry. Nice story, though, on the Buck 110. Oof. Not really a Buck. It was the Explorer version, but I did grow up with this style of knife, but not the automatic version, which apparently is in demand?
I guess.
Because they're doing, or they have done, third-party conversions, auto conversions on it, I think. Didn't look it up. Don't really follow that kind of thing. But this is a Blade HQ Special 12212. They had some other colors. I don't know if they're sold out or not. Philosophy, I guess, for this knife would be someone that, like me, grew up with a style of knife. They always wanted an automatic version of it. They're not really caring it too much about weight, because this is like a solid brass framed knife weighing 7.4 ounces.
Oof.
That's a lot. And there are some other quirks with this. We're going to be totally honest with you on it. And the Buck 110 is venerable. It's been around forever. People love it. It's been out since 1963. And now you have a choice of an automatic. What do you think, TD? Would you go out and buy that?
If I were into the style and the design, and I like the heirloom kind of vibe to it, yeah, it would be exciting. Especially if you've been like looking at the conversions out there. If you were looking before and like, oh, it's $200 to convert it. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of money. This one gets it factory, which will probably have better resale value later on. And who knows, maybe they'll just do it for this little window. They build a batch of these and then never touch them again.
I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So right now, these are going for about $150. The Buck 110 autos, again, in various colors. I don't know if they're going to come back or if this is a single batch. I'm kind of leaning towards a batch. Because I just don't know how many people want to roll with this. Because it doesn't have a clip. It is very traditional. kind of a different blend of elements. So it has the automatic element and also the traditional hunting knife element with its 420 HC cryogenically treated clip blade. Cryogenically. Just like Luke Skywalker. Oh, wait. Yeah, it was Luke Skywalker that got froze, right?
Yeah, it was Luke Skywalker, where he was sold by Dengar to Jabba the Hutt.
Kidding. Star Wars references abound these days. It's Han Solo, I know. Wasn't cryo.
It wasn't Dengar.
Anyways, let's check out how fast this knife comes out. TD, do us the honors if you would, please.
And it's locked back, which is a little weird.
Yeah, I want to talk about that. It is weird.
Come on, dummy.
So we actually had to go through a couple to find one that deployed adequately fast. This one does pretty good. I did lube it up a bit, you know, in the pivot point, and it's coming out awesome, I guess.
Yes.
There you go. Check the lockup, centering.
Yeah, the other one's off the rack. Like that first one felt like it had cosmoline in it almost.
Yeah, it was really slow. It wouldn't even pop open.
Yeah. It was like trying to get a fat guy up from a long nap. It was kind of, nah, I'm good.
If you get one that's slow, the good thing is Buck has really good customer service. You just throw it in a padded envelope and they get it back to you within a week.
Yeah.
I think most knife companies, major knife companies, are that way. And the lockup was good, right?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Show them the centering too on that. Pretty thick blade, actually. There you have it. Good looking blade. I like the OD micarta inlays on it. By the way, it came like that out of the box. So you see that brushing on the brass? It came just like that.
I really like how the brass looks.
It does.
I don't know if too many butt collectors.
Did you say butt collectors?
They collect just whole tons of butt.
Yeah.
But really, it's kind of rare because we have a lot of like Benchmade guys, ZT guys, but it's a different sort of breed that collects the entire series.
There is some movement right there, and it is an enclosed bolster, so you're kind of stuck with that. So there's a little, you can see it a little bit back and forth. There's a lot of love for the Buck 110. I'll tell you that right now. But you pretty much circulate in the tactical knife, EDC knife category. I don't really post any hunting knife videos because I tried it earlier and there's approximately 0% interest from my audience. They don't care and they don't want hunting knife videos. They hate it. Yeah. Like the Knives of Alaska vids. Remember we did those?
Yeah. They're kind of a different audience almost. Like the hunters aren't really huge EDC shoppers from the looks of it.
They are traditional and they like wood, brass, and apparently they're going to like micarta now.
And if I did, honestly, I'd probably go with Case. I think Case. I like their...
I do. I love Case knives. I love the tradition of Case.
Super cool. But
there's a lot of buck knives. Well, maybe not a lot, but there are some buck knives that I really like. Most of them would, again, be in the EDC or tactical category. A strange thing, we talked about the lockup, but we talked about centering. A strange thing about this is it's not your standard auto knife, and you're going to find yourself probably like me wanting to do this, push the button to fold it.
Yeah. It's
weird. It's the lockback, so it's actually a 2-point. I don't know. You press that to deploy it, and then you come back here. Not really
traditional.
They call it one-handed, but it's not really one-handed to fold it unless you use a special technique. You're not going to take your scales off because they're pinned. There's no safety on it. It's a recessed deployment button. I like that.
I like that part, yeah.
So it's simple. Really nice fit and finish. The micarta to brass frame fit seems to be good.
I do think it looks great. The micarta's a little slickery for me. But
this looks snakish right here, doesn't it? Doesn't it look like a rattlesnake pattern? I mean, you could tape those micarta scales up and you could polish this brass. Man, it would look good.
I like it kind of brushed and matted out, though. Yeah.
Again, traditional knife, no clip, very heavy. It's brass frame, 7.2 ounces. What?
Why could they not at least give it the possibility for a clip? Or
I have an answer for that.
If these were screws, we could have a removable clip and pop it on and off.
I have an answer for that. I don't think...
Tradition.
Exactly.
Once again,
the
we
110
have to
guys...
deal with things being imperfect because of
tradition.
tradition.
Well, hold on. I want to represent their viewpoint because I think I know what they're going to say. They're going to say, well, there's a bazillion knives out there with clips. Why do we have to put a clip on everything? Can't we just have a traditional... Albeit this is an automatic, so it's not that traditional. I think that's their response is, let's not completely, you know, change the formula of the Buck 110.
Because it
I get
renders
it. I
this
see what they're
nigh
saying.
incapable of EDC duty for a lot of guys. Their pocket setup.
I'll tell you who would EDC this, though.
Floppy knife.
There's guys, non-knife guys, as we've talked in some of our KRVs, they don't care about weight. A lot of them are tradesmen. A lot of them are ranchers and farmers. And they have no problem strapping a sheath on their belt, and that's how they're going to rock their knife. In fact, I've talked to some of them, and I've done the belt carry too, and one thing they will say over a clip carry is it's more secure.
More secure.
So as I'm putting fences up and stuff, I don't have to worry about knocking my knife out of my pocket and losing my Buck 110. It's going to be in my pouch sheath, which incidentally is a little bit disappointing for quality. I think it could be better.
It's all right.
It's made in the USA, it says.
What are you talking about? It's perfect. It's traditional.
I don't know. It's okay, but I would think with a special 110 auto like this, I would like to see a brown wax leather sheath, kind of like I've brought to table before. Some of those really cool leather sheaths. This is kind of a price point sheath, and it's made in the U.S. This is not a Chinese sheath.
Yeah.
So take that. People who always say stuff from China is crappy.
I figured.
I'm not saying it's crappy, but I don't think it matches a knife.
I thought it was just a parts thing. They're like, oh yeah, sheath. Grab one off that pile, toss, because the black doesn't match it.
No, it doesn't. I want a brown waxed, super high quality sheath. If you have to charge me $20 more, do it.
Something that breaks in and looks good, and wears and
then
creases. And...
you need to fabric cover this rivet right here, because I don't know if that's where some of that abrasion's coming from as it goes in there. Because this, I think, is kind of a collectible knife, isn't it?
Yeah.
If we talk about philosophy use, I think it's kind of a collectible knife. It fits good, though, although this has not been riding in the leather sheath for that long. Rivets right here, loop over right here. What were you going to say?
Nothing. It's just in some of the advertising and the manufacturers speak
here I go
around
again,
it.
trying
They
to
do
fold it
talk
without.
about it like an heirloom. This is something you're going to hand down, and it's going to be a collectible. And
I keep trying to fold it without.
yeah.
The blade came really sharp out of box. It's excellent. I am medium enthusiastic about 420HC. I think I've always said that. I think it has good edge geometry, has good heat treatment. Buck is really good, always has been good at that, and it'll do quite well. You have some flaps right here on the hollow ground 110 blade for consistent angle sharpening. There you go, 7.2 ounces. Dual controls, I think, is a little bit of a, I don't know, disappointment, I guess. Would I buy it? No, I wouldn't buy it. But I want to do the tabletop to represent people that might like it.
Yeah.
That it's a different formula and it comes out a lot easier than a 110. It is a single-handed deployment. Maybe not folding, but deployment. Anything left to say?
Not really. I mean, $150. It's not really my flavor. So, I mean, for me, it's a not buy. But it's not in my wheelhouse. So I can't really
agree.
I can't count that against it, because I think if you're into this style, the tradition, I really do like the elements. I like the Picarda. I like the look. I love the brass, actually. I like anytime it's something a little funky and quirky. It's just that the overall style and utility isn't really
okay
for me.
I'm gonna hit you up with something. You ready? What if I change the frame from brass to aluminum, or better yet, titanium? I did give you an option to screw in a clip. It would be optional, so the back bolster here would be threaded. I would increase the deployment speed, and I gave you a very high quality brown leather sheath, and now it weighs 5.5 ounces. Would you be interested then? And the price is $175.
Yeah, I'd be on board with that.
Boom, there you go.
That would be cool. It
there
would
you
be
go.
funky. It would be modern enough and
Agree.
utilitarian enough.
Agree. Because
that would be cool.
It'd almost be like a different interpretation of the 110.
Yeah.
And you could keep this one for people who wanted that, auto, but more traditional look. I think a lot of guys would go for that. And by the way, I'd probably get rid of the lock back then. Since you're changing the formulation so much, just make it a push button plunge lock.
Button only.
There you go. From the Nut and Fancy Project to you, that's the Buck 110 Auto, number 12212. Over and out.